on the chat. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of discussion about facilities from ZS77. Facilities increase recruiting. Recruiting increases talent. Talent increases success. Success generates revenue. Revenue runs college athletics. It's all matters at the Power 5 level. There's no question about that.
It all goes back to money.
Yep.
Everything goes back to money. Everything in America goes back to money. Whatever the subject is, it goes back to money. That's just rule of life. Adopt that. Know that, and everything else makes sense. Everything revolves around money in this country. Everything.
Fox is best positioned to make a big play for college football. We also, this is from Michael, need CBS to get back into college football and one or more of the streaming giants to get involved.
I don't think Fox is in that great of a position. They've been cutting bait on live sports here for a couple of years. I mean, they sold off the regional sports networks. They're kind of down. I mean, they sold a bunch of stuff off to Disney, which was also, assets they could put sports on if they wanted to. So Fox, may seem like that, but look, they just lost their best NFL crew. They're not going out spending a bunch of money for sports right now at Fox. Even trying to save a little money on the NFL. They didn't fight to keep Aikman and Buck at all. They were just ready to let him go, and that's fine. But that's your number one crew. CBS, faced with that same thing 2 years ago, ponied up and kept them both, Nance and Romo. So I think CBS is much better. And look, who's Fox's big streaming arm? They don't have one. Okay, CBS has Paramount Plus. NBC has Peacock. Not to mention what Amazon and Apple TV could get into just for the benefit of more content, and it's not going to cost them all that much money in their grand scheme of things. So I don't think Fox is positioned to really do anything. I think they've been trying to tell everybody that they're kind of backing down to kind of a minimum.
They're doing USFL.
I mean, like they're not going big on anything right now.
No, I can't imagine the price tag for the USFL stuff was that much. And I know there's various networks that are getting involved with all these new leagues. But, yeah, it does seem like Fox is retracting versus expanding. At least that's kind of the direction it's appeared now for a little while. So, I mean, you love everybody to throw their hat in the ring. I just don't know how realistic that is. I will say it's cool to turn on an Apple TV app and see MLB now on there, and you can watch Major League Baseball on Apple streaming, but we got the big Friday night game of the week and all that. It would be cool to turn that on and see, Big 12 stream or the Pac-12 stream or something like that. But, I think the hard thing right now is there's so much hope, and I don't know how all realistic it is. Mm-hmm. You hope Mack Rhodes and all these commissioners and athletic directors, they hope that Fox and CBS and NBC and ABC and MTV and HGTV, they want them all to get involved. They want Magnolia Network to carry football. But are they all going to do that? No. So how many options are really out there? And if there's, only so many options and those don't cover all of these teams, like who's going to be the one that has the bright idea of how to, change course and find a different path that maybe nobody else is thinking about right now? Because now the streaming path is not something that nobody's thinking about. It's what everybody's thinking about. Yeah. Everybody's thinking about the streaming arm of this. So, what other ideas are out there potentially? Maybe there aren't any others. I don't know, but there is a lot of hope right now.
All you need, you named a bunch, and if just a couple of them want to get involved, that helps. And you need a couple of them to get involved.
Craig, you did mention Magnolia, but I will say this. Discovery Plus and HBO Max are now one gigantic company, and will eventually be one app. So I would maybe on the low end throw them in, even though that's not really what they do and what their wheelhouse is. But that app, also encapsulates Turner and all the different things that are on those networks. So there's a ton of options out there for college football conferences in every realm. So that's where it's going. But
what's the price tag?
Yeah.
You might get offered, but is it the money you think you were going to be offered by, another network potentially? I mean, if you were thinking, oh, well, we can get this ESPN deal. All right, well, ESPN fell through. If you were hoping for $100 million, let's say, okay, great that, the Magnolia Network or something or Discovery comes and offers you, but what if it's $50 million? What if it's half of what, you know what I mean? Like that's where it gets even trickier.
And that's why, the ACC is probably kicking themselves a little bit, but maybe that's why they signed the deal they did, or ESPN offered them, knowing that, like, all right, well, we know that we're going to offer you this, and the best that somebody else is going to come to is this.
If they get stronger and better and whatever else, they can always renegotiate at some point, just like contracts are for players. They can do that for TV contracts. Although ESPN's not going to like all of a sudden go, okay, yeah, we're going to let you off the hook. We mentioned West Virginia early today on a couple of occasions. One was JT Daniels, the transfer quarterback, who's been at USC, Georgia, now at West Virginia, where Graham Harrell is there as offensive coordinator. But also the news that we mentioned with Tony Caridi about the backyard brawl has been extended like all the way from 22, 23, 24, 25, to 29, 30, and 31, and 32 after a long drought of about, 10 years or so. So that's good news for Pitt and West Virginia, some college football news. Now Nick Saban, and then we come back with John Machado.